Dr. Webb is here. Rick Alber is a longtime friend and for many years was on the radio show talking about websites. We don't talk about websites much anymore. It's like, did you do CD-ROMs before we did? I think you did. Didn't we do CD-ROMs for a while?
You gave me the name Dr. Rom a long time ago.
And you got to pick a better medium, Rick. Now he's going to be Dr. App. How about that? Can you be Dr. App?
Yeah, Dr. App sounds good.
So he was Dr. Rom, then CD-ROMs went away. Dr. Webb, and who talks about websites anymore? I mean, it's not even a thing.
We've evolved beyond that. We are definitely in the app world, and that's what I want to talk about today. A new terrific Google app that's available for Android phones called FieldTrip.
This thing is so interesting to me. And they had an event, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get Rick on the line, because you went to the event for the introduction of FieldTrip. It was, it's not exactly a Google. It was written by a Google engineer, but it doesn't kind of bill itself as a Google app, or does it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it does. Okay.
They're going to release it soon, they say, for iOS, so it's not strictly a Google Android app. But right now it runs on Android. I think any version of Android newer than including Gingerbread and newer. And
so what does it do?
Well, what it is it delivers location-based information in kind of multimedia format to your device, your phone or your tablet as you move around. And it can deliver like history of local landmarks, restaurant listings and reviews, local events and notices of things that are going to happen based on where you are at the time. And importantly, it delivers it in an unprompted way. It simply gives you an alert that can be an audio alert or a visual alert on your device. And then if you want to accept the alert, it will then deliver that information about whatever it's notified you about.
It is a strange experience. I turn it on and I turn on the voice, and what happens is, as you're moving around, it'll start talking in a robotic voice. Over there is where the movie American Graffiti was shot in 1973. It is really strange. They have movie locations, but I think that this is more than just a novelty. I think this is where Google wants to go, right?
Yeah, and to me, the reason I got excited about it was it's a new kind of platform for delivering information, and it's not limited to just, or right now it's limited to just, I think they have 41 content partners that have compiled information and deliver it to your device, but they want to eventually have it be open so that third-party folks can publish their own content that's location-specific and give users the ability to subscribe or to specify that they want information from whatever content providers they're interested in to come on their phone. The fellow that I think has headed up the project team for FieldTrip at Google is John Hankey. And he was the guy that originally developed Keyhole, which Google purchased about a decade ago, I guess now, and turned into Google Earth. And if you remember, Google Earth allows you to do mashups and create what are called KML files that are more or less overlays of your own content that plug into the Google Earth interface and allow people to, see your content, your map locations within that publishing platform. So if FieldTrip kind of can work the same way, and that's Hankey's intent, as he told me when I interviewed him this week, it can become a publishing platform for people that have information specific to location and want to deliver it. Now, the way it works right now is it's essentially a database, right, that's maintained on Google servers that associates graphic, JPEG, an image, or a text file, or both, with a specific location. They can also support audio files, so you're not limited to that robotic text-to-speech.
It could actually, where I thought this would be kind of fun is if I go to Paris, if there's enough information, it would be almost like when you go to a museum and you have that thing hanging around your neck and you listen to the narration as you walk through. I'd love to have a live narration as I walk through Paris of historic sites.
Sure, and it's like a digital docent, right?
Yeah.
Someone who's always with you, but you're not limited to a pre-recorded pathway through, a museum or the streets of Paris. You can, again, in theory, if the content's there, you can set this up so that you walk through the streets of Paris and it would notify you when you came to a historic place or wanted more information. You could talk to it if it provides a voice interface. It doesn't do that yet, but you could presumably talk to it and say, I want lunch, or I want, a place that's inexpensive and serves a certain type of food. And this would then, look in its database, calculate how close it was, give you some choices, much like kind of Google Earth or Google Maps does now, and then lead you to to whatever you're interested in.
This is Google's holy grail. In fact, I remember Eric Schmidt talking, and it was kind of a weird thing. He said, but we'll know if you need pants, and then as you're walking through town, when you go by a place with a special on pants, it'll tell you, hey, over to the left, you can get your pants.
Right.
This was his vision, and this is, that's kind of a trivial use, but this is an interesting idea. Now, of course, Google has Google Deals built into it, so it does, in fact, say, hey, you can get $1 off a cup of coffee over there. So that's where they're going to make money on this.
That's right. And if you, explain that example of the Google pants and your phone interrupting you to say, hey, there's a pants store over here and there's a great deal on pants right now, I'm sure that about half your listeners are out there saying, I'm never going to turn this thing on. This sounds awful. But as I, confirmed with John Hankey, they put a lot of thought into the interface of Field Trip.
I like it. Again, it's beautiful. It's elegant. And as I said, I can't wait to go somewhere where there's actually something to see. Now, here in Petaluma, we have a lot of movie locations. So there is a movie location database, and I'm seeing, it's kind of cool. Oh, over there, Peggy Sue Got Married was filmed. Or, oh, over there, American Graffiti was filmed. So that's kind of neat. And I think if you went somewhere historic, it might be really useful. I got to imagine that Apple wants to do the same thing.
Most likely, yeah. With Field Trip right now, they've got different broad categories, so you can subscribe or turn on information about categories like restaurants.
It's quite a few, yeah. And you do uncheck it if you don't want Google offers. You can turn that off, so you do have granular control over what you're seeing.
Very granular. That was the point I was kind of getting to. That they know that you don't want to be bothered, a lot of the time. So it's very easy in Field Trip to specify that you want a lot of information pushed to you, or you want just a little bit, or you want none. And you can specify whether the thing will translate the information audially so that, it can interrupt you, for instance, if you want it to, or otherwise it'll be silent and maybe just show you an alert on your screen. Or you can even specify that you only want it to talk to you when you're driving and not when you're walking around.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, yeah.
So it seems like they're kind of sensitive to this idea that people, in some cases, want information, and in other cases, they just don't want to have their phone nagging at them. And that's a very important kind of thought process.
Rick Alber is Dr. App. We're going to rename you. Thank you, Rick. Great to talk to you. The app is available on the Play Store in the U.S. It's called Field Trip. I should have asked you before, is there anything you want me to plug? You got anything to plug? No? Just you?
I'm fine. Just me.
I'm really glad because to talk to you about this, because I thought this was really interesting. And I think we need to contextualize it as really the future of mobile. This is where companies are really trying to capitalize on mobile and location.
I think there's an entertainment angle to it, too, that sort of gets me excited.
I love it.
You could have like a musing commentary as you go, as you say you navigate, in your car.
I can't wait till they have an API so that we can do that.
Well, they've got a XML schema they've published for adding content, but they still have to approve you. They have to make you an official partner before they'll publish your content. Right. But it's coming.
It's pretty cool. And for some reason, Petaluma is very well represented. We have Dr. Mom, who's a listener in Long Island, says it's boring for her because there's It's just places to eat. So it really is dependent on where you are. Northern California is very well represented right now.
I could have said more about that because I do know, what their footprint is. And I asked Hanke about Jeff Jarvis's comment on Twig on Wednesday when he said that he didn't find anything in New York. And Hanke said, he's got it configured wrong. There's like 10,000, New York things.
Oh, okay.
Said that there's, thousands of entries between these 40 or so partners they have now.
Right. Here's Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, used the Marin, looks like the Marin Civic Center as a location for Camp Katomer, secret site of the Peace Conference. It's really fun. I have to say, it crashes a lot on my Galaxy S3, and it just crashed again. So it's got.
Yeah, mine. I tried it on the Nexus 7, and I found it's just not reliable on that at all.
Yeah, they even say specifically it is for phones, not tablets. But of course, the Nexus 7 is Wi-Fi only, so it wouldn't be particularly useful.
Yeah, well, they do download a lot of the content. It's not a streaming thing specifically. It's kind of, according to Hanke, it's a mix.
That was another question. Somebody in the chat room said, boy, this is a great way to go through your data caps, burn through your data caps.
Could be. Certainly if you're downloading sound files, you could run up a tab pretty quickly.
But if it caches when you're on Wi-Fi, for instance, that would be great. This of course is another way that Google's going to use Zagat, because they bought the Zagat guides, and this really is a great use for that.
Yep. You gotta remember, it's not just lookup stuff. It's really just useful when you're moving about and you're in, a new area particularly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got architecture, historic places, and events, lifestyle, offers and deals, food, drinks, and fun. Cool and unique and outdoor art are the current categories, but there'll be more, I'm sure, added. It's interesting. Public Art Archive, Chicago Public Art, Friends of the High Line, which is New York, L.A. Public Art, Laguna Beach, Stanford Public Art, and San Francisco Mural Project. So you can see those places, public art. If you're going around Chicago, you'll see all the interesting public art, but it wouldn't work in let's say Philadelphia.
They do have kind of in the lifestyle section. I think they have a
Gardenista, Matador Network, Inhabitant, Racked, Remodelista, Curbed, Charlie, Weheart, Songkick, Creative Loafing. Yeah, Songkick, for instance, said, across the street, some group is going to play on Friday. It picked that up as I walked by. Sunset Magazine, Flavor Pill. Interesting.
It all kind of fits into that Google, goggles.
Yeah. Hey, I got to run. Great to talk to you, Rick.
Thank you, Leo.
See ya.
Bye.